Storydepths presents audiobook of the Curators Series, Book 1, Zephy Awakening by Kennard. You are listening to Episode 10, from Zephy Awakening. Click on the playlist to listen to previous episodes. All rights reserved.
Chapter 3. On the Road with Uncertainty. Driving westward again, the rising sun casting long shadows on the road ahead, I found my mind far from present. Thoughts of those two other-world beings weighed heavily on me. The idea of beings possibly more powerful than myself, searching for me with godlike abilities, it was unsettling to say least. Rex sat in back seat, his head resting on window. Lily lounged beside him, her eyes closed as if catching a moment of rest. Despite their presence, I felt a deep sense of worry gnawing at me. They had become my unexpected companions. The thought of them being in danger because of me was almost unbearable. I glanced at Lily, wondering if I had made the right decision in keeping her and Rex with me. In my mind, I weighed options. Should I leave them somewhere safe? Would they be better off with someone who could protect them from dangers that seemed to follow me? Is it really safe to keep them with me? Am I just putting them in more danger? The thought echoed in my mind, a silent debate I was having. I knew Lena and Owen could provide safer environment, but going back with them meant returning to Kit's hammock. Hiding once again, losing the freedom I had only just begun to taste. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel, my mind racing. I had to find a way to keep them safe, without dragging them into chaos that my life had become. But how? Eventually, unable to keep my concerns to myself any longer, I broke the silence. Lily, I began cautiously glancing at her from the corner of my eye. I've been thinking, maybe it's best if I drop you and Rex off somewhere safe. I don't want to put you both at risk. Lily opened one eye, her expression immediately shifting to one of sarcastic amusement. Oh, here we go, she said, sitting up straighter. The big mighty Zephy wants to save us from the big bad world. Focus on your own problems, Zephy. Rex and I are fine. We've managed this far, haven't we? I sighed, feeling weight of her words. I'm serious, Lily. Those beings, they're looking for me. They're powerful, more powerful than anything we've ever encountered. I can't guarantee your safety. Lily rolled her eyes. A smirk played on her lips. And what makes you think dumping us off somewhere is going to make things better? You think we're safer out there on our own? Or do you think worlds full of people lining up to take care of runaway kid and German shepherd? Her words stung, but there was truth in them. I knew it wasn't as simple as leaving them somewhere and hoping for best. I don't want you to get hurt because of me. You and Rex deserve more than being dragged into this mess. Lily crossed her arms. Her expression softened slightly. Her tone remained sharp. Zephy, listen. We're in this together now. You're stuck with us, whether you like it or not. Besides, you need us. Who else is going to keep you from turning everything you touch into dust? I couldn't help but smile at her resilience. She had point. They had become my companions, my friends, even, in this uncertain journey. All right, fine. But if things get dangerous, we find a way to keep you both safe. No arguments. Lily nodded, her smirk returning. Deal. But for now, let's keep moving. We've got places to go and no idea where we're heading. Sounds like an adventure to me. I laughed softly, feeling mixture of relief and apprehension. The road ahead was still uncertain, filled with potential dangers and mysteries. But with Lily and Rex by my side, I felt renewed sense of determination. Together we would face whatever lay ahead, finding our way through the chaos and seeking answers that had eluded me for so long. As the morning light brightened, casting golden glow over the road ahead, I decided to lighten the mood. We had been driving in a tense silence for too long. It was time to focus on something other than the looming threats. Lily, I said, glancing over at her with a small smile, since we're apparently stuck together for this adventure, why don't you pick our next destination? Anywhere you'd like to go. She tilted her head, considering my offer with thoughtful expression. Anywhere, huh? She mused. All right, I've got idea. Let's go to zoo. I've never been to one. I couldn't help but chuckle at the unexpected choice. A zoo? Are you sure zoo animals can handle you, Lily? Teased. My eyebrow raised. He smirked, unfazed by my joking. You're the one who can't handle your powers. I think I can manage a tour of zoo just fine. Rex barked from the back seat. It was as if to agree with her. His tail wagged energetically. I laughed, the sound lifting some of the weight from my shoulders. All right, zoo it is, but I have to warn you, if any animals start acting strange around me, we're out of there. Deal? Lily rolled her eyes but grinned. Deal. And don't worry, Zephy. I'll be there to make sure you don't accidentally turn any lions into dust. I laughed again, feeling a genuine lightness that had been missing for too long. Fair enough. Let's find nearest zoo and see what kind of trouble we can avoid getting into. We drove on, tension between us melting away with each passing mile. The road stretched out ahead, filled with possibilities. For first time in a while, I felt a sense of anticipation for what lay ahead, rather than dread. A trip to zoo might not solve all our problems, but it was a way to enjoy journey even amidst uncertainties. As we navigated the highway, I couldn't help but glance at Lily. Her excitement was palpable. Despite her tough exterior and sharp tongue, there was a sense of wonder in her eyes. It was something I found comforting. She had a resilience that reminded me of the importance of finding joy, even in the smallest moment. Okay, zoo it is, I said, more to myself than to her. Let's see what kind of adventures await us there. After 2 hours of driving, we finally arrived at the zoo. The sprawling grounds stretched out before us, promising a day filled with adventure and, hopefully, some well-deserved fun. I parked the car. We made our way to the ticket counter. I was relieved to see that no ID was required. I paid in cash for our ticket. We stepped through gates. I couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement. It had been a long time since I'd allowed myself to enjoy something as simple as a trip to zoo. Lily was practically bouncing with enthusiasm, her eyes wide with wonder as she took in the sights and sounds around us. This place is huge, she exclaimed, looking around at various exhibits. I can't believe I've never been to zoo before. Rex, trotting happily beside us, seemed just as eager. His ears perked up, his tail wagged furiously as he sniffed the air, taking in all the new scents. I had to wonder how he'd react to some of larger animals, especially the big cats. But for now, he seemed as excited as Lily. Our first stop was elephant enclosure. As we approached, I noticed something strange. The usual calm of zoo was broken by a sudden chorus of high-pitched animal noises. Birds screeched, monkeys chattered excitedly. Even the nearby zebras seemed agitated. The elephants, however, were most peculiar. One of elephants, large majestic creature with tusks that gleamed in sunlight, kneeled down on its front legs as we approached. It was as if it were bowing, or greeting us in some ancient, respectful manner. Lily's eyes went wide. She turned to me with a look of astonishment. Zephy, is this your doing? Are you making animals act like this? I shook my head, just as bewildered as she was. No, I'm not doing anything. I swear. Other elephants joined in. Their deep, resonant trumpeting filled air. The sound was almost musical, reverberating through park and drawing attention of other visitors. Rex, on the other hand, had frozen in place, his eyes wide and his tail tucked between his legs. He let out small, nervous whine, clearly unsure about these massive trumpeting creatures. I crouched down to reassure him, stroking his fur gently. It's okay, Rex. They're just saying hello, I think. Lily stepped closer to railing, fascinated by display. This is incredible. I've never seen animals act like this before. It's like I don't know, like they recognize you or something. I frowned, looking around at other animals who were still making a racket. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they can sense something about me, but I'm not doing anything intentionally. We watched for a few moments. The elephants continued their unusual behavior. The kneeling one finally rose back to its full height, its massive ears flapping gently as it regarded us with what seemed like a knowing gaze. Lily turned to me, her excitement now tinged with curiosity. Do you think this has something to do with your powers? Maybe animals can sense your energy or something? I stood up, feeling a mix of amazement and confusion. Maybe. Or maybe it's just a coincidence. I've never experienced anything like this before, though. We decided to continue our tour of zoo, moving on to next exhibit. As we walked, other animals seemed to calm down, returning to their usual routines. But encounter with elephants stayed with me. A reminder there was still so much about my powers and myself that I didn't understand. Despite lingering questions, I tried to focus on enjoying the day. We visited lion enclosure. Rex stared in wide-eyed wonder at majestic cats lounging in the sun. We wandered through aviary. Brightly colored birds flitted around us in riot of feathers and song. We marveled at sheer diversity of life. In Reptile House, everything from tiny geckos to massive pythons slithered and basked in terrariums. Lily's excitement was infectious. I found myself laughing and smiling more than I had in long time. Even Rex seemed to be enjoying himself, despite occasional nervous glance at some of the larger predators. As the sun climbed higher in sky, we took break at shaded picnic area. Lily chattered happily about all animals we'd seen, her earlier sarcasm replaced by genuine enthusiasm. "Can you believe that elephant?" she said, shaking her head in disbelief. "It was like it was bowing to you or something. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen." I smiled, though a part of me still felt uneasy about whole experience. "Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I just wish I understood why it happened." Lily shrugged, taking a bite of her sandwich. "Maybe you're just special. Maybe animals can see something in you that we can't." I laughed softly, shaking my head. Maybe. Or maybe I just have really weird luck. After finishing our lunch under shade of picnic area, we resumed our exploration of zoo. The day was warm. Paths were lined with families and children, all excited to see various animals. Rex seemed to have settled into rhythm of place, trotting alongside us with his tail wagging as if he'd been visiting zoos his whole life. Our next stop was bird enclosure. It was large aviary filled with vibrant chirping life. As we entered, a cacophony of calls filled the air. I couldn't help but notice how the parrots seemed to react to our presence. They perched high on their branches, their wings spread wide, as if in grand display. It was almost as if they were greeting us, or more specifically, greeting me. Once we moved past the parrots closed their wings, resuming their normal activities. I glanced over at Lily, whose eyes were twinkling with amusement. "Okay, Zephy," she said, giving me a knowing look. "This whole zoo is definitely rolling out red carpet for you. First elephants, now parrots. You're practically royalty here." I chuckled, feeling a mix of curiosity and unease. I don't know what's going on. It's like they can sense something about me. Lily grinned, clearly enjoying the spectacle. "Well, whatever it is, it's pretty cool. And we go see tigers next? They're my favorite." "Sure," I replied, nodding. "Let's go find them." We made our way to tiger enclosure, a large glass-fronted habitat that allowed visitors to get close view of magnificent animals inside. As we approached, I felt slight tension in air, kind of electric hum that seemed to intensify with each step. When we reached the glass, one of tigers, a massive, regal beast with thick orange coat and dark piercing eyes, rose from its resting spot. It padded over to us. It moved with fluid grace, eyes locked onto mine as it came to sit directly in front of me, just inches away from glass. Lily's eyes widened in amazement. She glanced at me with a look that said everything. "Zephy," she said slowly, her voice filled with wonder. "I think this tiger really likes you." Nearby zookeeper, who had been observing us from a distance, walked over. She looked both puzzled and impressed. "This is incredible," she said, her gaze shifting between the tiger and me. "This tiger is usually very aggressive and keeps its distance from glass. I've never seen it act like this before." I shrugged, feeling the weight of the tiger's gaze on me. "I guess I have way with animals," I said, trying to downplay the oddity of situation. The zookeeper nodded slowly. She was still watching the tiger. "It's like it's drawn to you. There's something calming about your presence." Lily, unable to resist, nudged me with her elbow. "See? Even big cats can't resist your charm. You're practically a tiger whisperer." I laughed softly, though the encounter left me more perplexed than ever. We stayed by tiger's enclosure for a while longer, watching as it remained near the glass, almost as if it were guarding us. Rex, for his part, sat quietly at my feet, his earlier nervousness replaced by calm curiosity. Eventually, we moved on, continuing our tour of zoo. But the unusual behavior of animals stayed with me, a lingering mystery, one that I couldn't quite shake. It seemed that wherever I went, there was a connection, an unspoken bond that I didn't fully understand. As the day drew to a close, we made our way back towards entrance, sun beginning to dip low in the sky. The zoo trip had been an unexpected delight, filled with moments of awe and wonder I hadn't anticipated. "We should start looking for a place to stay," I said as we exited gates. "It's getting late, we need to find a motel for the night." Lily nodded, still buzzing with excitement. Yeah, and let's try to find one with decent bed this time. I'm not sleeping in another dump. I laughed, feeling sense of lightness that had been missing for a long time. Agreed. We'll find somewhere nice, and maybe tomorrow we can have another adventure, minus the animal serenade. As we walked back to car, I couldn't help but feel grateful for the day we'd had. The zoo had been a place of wonder, brief respite from uncertainties of our journey. And even though mysteries of my powers and threats that lay ahead still loomed large, for now we had found a moment of peace and joy. With Rex by our side and Lily's sharp wit keeping us grounded, I knew we could face whatever came next. Together, we would continue to explore, seek answers, and to find our way through the maze of my past and the challenges of the present. As I started car and we pulled out of parking lot, I felt renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead was long and winding, but with my companions beside me, I was ready for whatever adventures awaited us. After a short 30-minute drive to the west, we found a modest motel that promised restful night. The check-in process was smooth. No questions or complications. We quickly freshened up and grabbed dinner at the motel's small diner, savoring a simple meal, tired from the day's journey. We went straight to bed. Lily fell asleep almost instantly. Rex curled up at the foot of my bed, providing comforting presence. The next morning, we were up early, ready to hit the road again. We checked out, grabbed quick breakfast of coffee and pastries from the motel lobby. With no particular destination in mind, we simply started driving west. Letting the road guide us, Lily seemed content to watch the passing scenery, her usual sarcastic energy subdued for the moment. Rex, as always, was calm and steady companion in the back seat. We drove in comfortable silence, for a while each lost in our thoughts. After some time, Lily broke the silence, her tone casual but tinged with her trademark sarcasm. So, where are we heading today, Zephy? Any grand plans, or are we just going to keep driving until we fall off the map? I shrugged, keeping my eyes on the road. No plans. Just driving. Sometimes it's better to see where road takes us. Lily nodded, seeming to accept my answer. After a few more minutes of silence, she turned to me with a curious look. Okay, so what's the deal with you and Lena? I glanced at her, a bit surprised by the question. What do you mean? She rolled her eyes, her sarcasm cutting through quiet morning air. Oh, come on. You know exactly what I mean. Lena, the girl who crossed who knows how many miles to find you. What's your relationship with her? I sighed, trying to keep my tone even. Lena's just a neighbor. She visits Kit's hammock regularly to see her aunt. That's it. She's probably settled there now, helping out and taking care of things. Lily raised an eyebrow, clearly not convinced. Just a neighbor? Really? And neighbors always go on wild goose chases to find each other when things get weird? I glanced at her, then back at the road. Yes, really. Lena cares about me and I care about her, but it's not what you're thinking. We're not. She's just been constant presence in my life. Lily smirked, her eyes twinkling with amusement. Sure, Zephy. Just a neighbor who happens to be there whenever you need someone. Totally normal. I couldn't help but chuckle at her persistence. Look, it's complicated. I don't see her that way. I'm pretty sure she doesn't see me that way either. We're just friends, neighbors, whatever you want to call it. That's all. Lily leaned back in her seat, her smirk softening into a knowing grin. Okay, if you say so, but you might want to think about it a bit more. Sometimes people mean more to us than we realize. I nodded, mulling over her words. Maybe, but right now I've got enough to figure out, without adding that to the mix. Lily laughed. It was a light, teasing sound. Fair enough. Just promise me you won't turn into total hermit. You might need more than just Rex and me around. I smiled, appreciating her blunt honesty. Deal. I'll try to keep that in mind.
This was episode 10 from the Curators Series, Book 1, Zephy Awakening by Kennard. Available only on Storydepths YouTube channel. Click on the playlist to listen to other episodes.